Hey y'all, it's Jade here, aka The Joys of Jade. Today I'm going to show you everything that I got at a grocery haul at both Costco and Whole Foods. So we're going to start with the produce. I actually have some more stuff in the freezer and the refrigerator that wouldn't even fit on the table that I'll show you at the end. So first thing I want to show you guys is my dried beans. These are super great nut bags if you don't have them. They're really good for buying things in bulk. But I got some black beans, garbanzo beans, and these white beans. So white beans are really good for making any kind of cheese-like sauce. And I like buying dried beans because it's a lot cheaper to buy everything in a large quantity. And then I just use my pressure cooker to make them whenever I'm ready. It makes it really, really easy. Another thing I got as well, some red lentils. There's a hole in the bag. Red lentils are really good for Indian dishes as well, but another thing that I like that we actually already have is brown lentils. Next thing I'll show you guys is this almond milk. I love this brand, really simple ingredients. These, I got some blueberries, some strawberries for smoothie bowls, some green beans at Costco, and some sugar snap peas. These are really great for eating raw. Whenever you just need a quick snack. Another good thing for eating raw is these bell peppers. I like to just eat them like an apple because I'm just really lazy like that. I also got some cucumber, another great raw veggie. And I got some mushrooms here from Costco. Mushrooms are actually a fungus, not a plant food, but they're really nutrient dense and super important to include in your diet at least once a day. I really like them because they're great at adding bulk to more meaty meals. If you're doing beans or lentils, they can add a lot of volume without adding too many calories. Another vegetable that I got is this cauliflower. So cauliflower is another one of those vegetables that you can kind of be creative with. I like to make cauliflower rice, or I even use the frozen stuff in my smoothies to give it more bulk and sneak some veggies in. We're actually going to be making cauliflower crust pizza with this week. So this is the first time I've ever tried to make cauliflower crust, so I will let you know how that goes. Another thing that I got is diced tomatoes. This is something I always have on hand because it's super easy to just throw some diced tomatoes with some spices and some beans, and it feels like you're eating a stew. And I can show you more recipes with that later on as well. But I always look for the unsalted version, which is pretty hard to find. So if you can find it, that's awesome. Another thing that I got is extra firm tofu. So it's really important to have extra firm if you want to be pan frying or baking your tofu because you want it to stay together and you want it to be crispy. I also got silken tofu, which is the extremely soft version of tofu. This is really great for adding protein to your smoothies or even making another cheese-like sauce. I have a recipe on my Instagram that uses silken tofu for mac and cheese. I got some dates. These are my go-to for sweeteners. I don't use any added sugar, or I even try to limit the amount of maple syrup and agave that I use and try to stick to whole foods as much as possible. So these are really good if you have a high-speed blender because it'll blend right up and you'll never even know that they're there. Sweet potatoes are another huge staple of mine. They are really filling and high in vitamin A, which is really nice for your skin and your nails. So I got some rolled oats as well. I really like the rolled oats because they're a lot faster to cook than steel cut. And they're really good at making flours. So I always just make my own oat flour, just blend it in the blender. And I have a pancake recipe on my Instagram that I use oat flour for. You can also make waffles or even add it to recipes to try to thicken a batter or broth if you're using it. So I also got a bunch of bananas, a literal bunch. I got two kinds here. So this one is spotty. This means that the bananas are ripe. They're gonna digest a lot better than these. These are green. These still need a few days to ripen. But I got a lot because I want to freeze them and make them into smoothies. Another thing that I wanted to show you is these red onions. So I've only been buying red onions now, not white onions, just because red onions have more nutrients in them because of the color. So you can always tell how healthy a food is by the color. I'm not saying that white onions aren't healthy because they definitely are, but when you're doing that comparison, red onions do have slightly more nutrients. So this coconut yogurt is really great alternative to dairy yogurt. I like the unsweetened plain yogurt because I like to add my own flavorings, whether that's melted fruit that was previously frozen or even some maple syrup or cinnamon. This is really good on top of smoothie bowls. Another special thing that I've actually never bought before is sauerkraut. But as you guys know, I've been trying to incorporate more fermented foods into my diet just because it's really, really good for your gut bacteria and digestion as well, which is super important for pretty much all aspects of health. So I'm gonna give this a try and I'll let you know how it goes. But I'm actually gonna be making my own really soon, but it takes a few days to ferment, so I wanted to have some right away. Another special thing that I've never gotten before is this yogurt starter. So I really want to try to make my own yogurt. It's vegan and you basically just use any type of plant milk and add it in, heat it up, and then let it sit in the fridge for a little while, and I'll show you how to do that once I actually do it myself. So I had to get some mango and papaya while I'm here in Hawaii because they are so good here. If you're in the mainland, I'm sorry, but it probably is not as good. I got some avocados. I got some peaches. These were at Costco. They smelled really, really good. They came in a big batch. I got a melon. I'm going to be making a melon bowl, which you will see on my Instagram pretty soon. And I think I talked about everything here already. So, oh, quinoa. This is another staple grain. I like to make my 2-ingredient quinoa bread, which is just quinoa and water blended up. You can check my Instagram out if you want to see that recipe. And I already had brown rice, but brown rice is definitely something that I would buy on a regular basis. So this is the rest of the food that I got. I wanted to show you the frozen vegetables. I got this huge bag of a stir-fried blend. So this is super handy to have because you can just whip it up in the microwave, add some liquid aminos, garlic, ginger, and tofu, and then you'll have a really nice stir-fry. I also got this because I'm going to pick out the cauliflower that's frozen and use it in my smoothies to add thickness and sneak some vegetables in. And speaking of sneaking vegetables into smoothies, zucchini is another great way to do that because it takes on the flavor of whatever else that you're putting in there, and it adds a lot of fiber and vitamins and minerals as well. I've also been using these in my oatmeal, shredding them up and making zucchini oats. Again, you don't taste it, it's just a way to get vegetables in at the start of the day. And then I got a great big bag of spinach as well to add to my smoothies or salads. It's really great to just be able to shove a bunch of spinach in your blender and then let it go down super easy and it tastes like fruit. Ground flax seeds are another great one for omega-3s. Dr. Greger recommends eating at least 1 tablespoon a day. And it's really important that you grind your flax seeds up because otherwise they'll just pass through undigested. So I know this may seem like a lot of different produce. I may have went a little bit ham today since this is the first time that I've ever bought food for my parents and I as well. So I'm not sure exactly how long this will last. I'm hoping at least 2 weeks, maybe even 3. You can really make it as much or as little as you want. I really recommend using frozen vegetables to save money and buying in bulk as well. The dried beans are really, really cheap, and lentils are dirt cheap, and they are so nutrient dense. They're packed with iron, packed with protein and fiber and phytonutrients. Another thing that you may notice is that every single recipe on my Instagram is different than the last. I try to really include a lot of variety, but I use largely the same ingredients. So I don't buy a bunch of different things and then only use them once. I keep using them over and over again to make sure that they get used up. And this is a really, really easy way to feel still inspired with your food. You don't want it to get boring, but you still know that you're eating healthy because you're sticking to the main staples: fruits, vegetables, legumes, starches, and whole grains, as well as nuts and seeds as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did, and comment down below some of your favorite recipes.